Good morning, grade 2. I really missed you so much. I wish all of you in a complete, perfect health. Okay, let's continue part of Nature of Science, lesson number 5. How do scientists collect and share data? How do scientists collect and share data? First of all, let me warm up your minds about the previous lessons that we studied before. We studied the skills of scientists. Can you remember them? We studied many skills for scientists. They ask questions. They never stop asking questions about world around them. Second, they observe. Okay, they observe and so on. They can predict. Yes, that's it. What's the meaning of observation? And how do scientists observe? Great. The magic word of observation is to use your senses. Very nice. You can remember that in the class together. Yeah, you observe when you use your senses to find out about something. When you want to find out something or to discover something, you observe or you use your senses. Very nice. And let's remember too about the scientific method, the steps of the scientific method. Number 1, they ask a question. 2, make a hypothesis. Can you remember the meaning of hypothesis? Yes, of course, I trust you. Number 3, they plan a fair test. 4, they are doing their tests or the experiment. Number 5, they collect and record data. Collect and record data to finally, to draw conclusions. Now time to start our lesson. Lesson number 5. It helps you to know how to record and show data. Let's start. Scientists collect data to learn new things. And you collect data too, you know that? Okay, close your eyes and imagine with me. For example, if you visit a new place, you enjoyed watching wonderful sights and different kinds of plants and animals. You used your eyes to see those natural sights. You used your hands to touch or your nose to smell different flowers. So you are using your senses. Yeah, it reminds you something? Yes, of course. Observation. Excellent. You observed new things in that place. Okay, and if you took photos there or videos, if you wrote names of plants and animals there, you observe it and you collected data. See, you observed it, you collected data, so you learn new things. Now you can imagine, now you can realize what the meaning of observation and collecting data? Yeah, well done. And now, could you tell me what the meaning of data? Yes, data is what you observe. Data is what you observe. You use your senses to collect data. You use your senses to collect data. You use your senses, so you observe, then you collect data. Could you remember the previous example for your visit to the new place? Yes, you used your senses to observe plants and animals, and you collected data by taking photos or videos or writing notes. Could you remember that? So, again, you use your senses to collect data. Alright, observe and collect data from this picture. Which senses could you use to collect data about the flower? Super! You can smell it. You can see and describe it. You touch it carefully. Even if it is safe, you can taste it. But definitely you cannot hear anything from the flower. It has no sound. Yeah. Scientists make conclusions from the data. Scientists infer when they make conclusions. Okay, review with me from the start. Scientists observe, collect data, they make conclusions, they infer when they make conclusions. Again, observe, collect data, conclusions, and finally they infer. Okay, teacher, could you define infer? What's the meaning of this word? You infer when you use what you know to explain something. You infer when you use what you know to explain something. Let's talk more about this point. Could you remember the previous lesson, lesson number 4 example, when we said that scientist number 1 asked, investigated, and wrote his conclusions? Number 2, he asked, investigated, wrote his conclusion. And scientist number 3, also he asked, investigated, made his conclusion. At the end, their conclusions are, can you remember? Yes, they were similar to each other. So after all of these conclusions, you infer. You got enough knowledge to arrive the scientific fact. You got the final idea that scientists tested. You got the fact, you understood it, and you can explain it. Now, the meaning of verb infer is clear to you? Very well. Okay, students, get your science book, page number 192. At the top of the page, you will find a picture of rocks. And the question is to write what you observe about the rocks. What you observe about the rocks. Come on, use your senses. What you observe about the rocks. Yeah, plants are growing on the rocks. Now, page number 193. It's explaining how to observe, meaning of data, explaining that scientists infer when they make conclusions, and the meaning of this word, infer. Finally, it's asking you to underline what you use to observe data. What you use to observe data. Of course, you will underline this word, senses, yes. Underline your senses. After that, you have picture of rocks. The question is, what can you infer about the rocks? Look at the picture and tell, what can you infer about the rocks? Of course, the rocks broke off the mountain. Yes, when you observe large pieces of rocks here, you infer that they are broken off the mountain. Record data. Scientists record what they observe. Scientists can learn new things when they record data. Sometimes they find patterns. Sometimes they learn what is the same and what is different. Meaning that scientists observe, scientists record data, they record, so they find things, and they learn more. Please check your science book, page number 194. It's explaining that scientists record what they observe and measure. By recording, they learn new things. They find patterns, they find out same and different things. And finally, it's asking you that if you have these 3 rocks with different kinds, such as granite, basalt, and pumice, measure them to know or to observe. Can you remember? To observe how much is wide each one using a ruler. Then, what's the next step? After observation, what's the next step? Is to write or record data in centimeters. Show data. Scientists use charts and graphs to show data. The target point of this lesson is to know that scientists observe and collect data, then record data. After that, they show data. Using what? Using things help them to show. Using charts and graphs. Charts and graphs. Yes, I can hear that you are asking yourself now. Charts and graphs like what? Fine. Look at the illustrating pictures here and follow me. A chart helps you organize data. What is the job of chart? Is to organize data. So chart is organizing. Chart is organizing. As you see, you can find table, simple table or simple drawing helps to organize data. Helps you to arrange your informations or your data. You can write names, you can write their numbers or their measures simply. But a bar graph helps you compare data. Bar graph helps you compare data. What the job of bar graph is to compare. Bar graph is comparing data. You can find which one is larger or which kind is more common. It's more clear in page number 195. Open it, please. Okay, can you remember the experiment of measuring the 3 kinds of rocks to see how much is wide each one? Yes, now the time to show data. They recorded data, now the time to show it. They show it by using charts and graphs. The chart, you can see the simple table. It's written here granite, basalt, pumice, and the measurement of each one. Granite is 5, basalt is 6, pumice is 8 centimeters. Okay, and in the bar graph, bar, you know what's the meaning of bar? This column, this rising line, or this pink column, can you see it? So the bar graph helps to compare the rocks, helps to know which one is widest. And that is the question at the bottom of the page. It's saying make a conclusion from your data. Which rock is the widest? Come on, tell me. Use your bar graph to know, to compare which one is the widest. Of course, it's pumice, yeah. We have finished lesson number 5. It was about scientists and data. Now, ask yourself, what do scientists do with data? Okay, scientists collect data, they record data, and show data. Again, remember, they collect what they observed, they record data. During recording, they find things, they learn new things, and finally, they show data using things like what? Can you remember? Like charts, like graphs, charts to organize, graphs to compare. Thank you, grade 2, for listening. Read this lesson. Try to revise all the part of the nature of science to be a little scientist. Stay safe. Thank you.